Hey everybody, welcome back to Diesel Creek. My name's Matt. This rusty beauty over here is a Caterpillar D4 trackscavator, better known as an HT4, or rather the carcass of what's left of one. I bought this machine a couple years ago at an auction for parts, basically. I think I paid $750 for it. Drug it onto the trailer, don't know anything about it, and it's been sitting here on the side of the shop waiting on a rainy day. To be super clear from the get-go here, I have no ambitions of fixing this thing up and making it usable, since we're missing the entire front loader assembly that should be on this machine. The reason I bought it is because it is the same chassis, and most of the parts cross, to a Caterpillar D4 7U. This actually has 7U serial number tags on it. The main difference is they put a loader structure on there, the tracks are longer, and I'm sure there's a few other little things. Maybe the gear set is a little higher, and this guy has a different front end and bigger hydraulic pump on it. They do, however, share the same Caterpillar D315 diesel engine, as well as the starting motor, the pony motor. I believe the rear ends are all the same. Like I said, this guy might just have a different gear set in it, so you have different speeds in the gears. I was ready to start ripping this thing down for parts for our D4 project, and I decided that I should go ahead and spend a little bit of time trying to get this thing running first, so that I know I have a good engine here. I don't know anything about this. I don't know if it's even locked up or nothing. Everything is pretty well stuck on this machine, but if I start ripping it apart, basically I'll always have an unknown engine there. But at least if I can get it running, I know what I have before I tear it apart and it just sits around here. There's not much access to the engine on these machines. They're pretty well covered up with lots of sheet metal on these models. But what I can see of the engine here is super greasy. I mean, it is just nasty. The serial number tag is hiding right down here in plain sight. I've been soaking it down with some degreaser. I'm gonna grab a toothbrush and try to clean that thing up. Once I know the serial number, we can tell for sure what year this machine is. I have to assume it's mid to late 50s. Shouldn't make much difference though. While we're waiting on that degreaser to do its magic, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the impact and start zapping some of this sheet metal off here so we can get a better look onto this engine and see what we really got. One nice thing about working on these old cats is like 80% of the hardware on them is either a 9/16 head or a 3/4. So you just set two impacts up and you can zip zap these things apart all day long. Now for an old Caterpillar, this machine is surprisingly here and intact, minus the loader assembly. Of course, that's the nail in the coffin. I don't know why somebody would have taken that off of there, but all these little engine panels and covers and stuff, those are actually usually missing, so pretty nice to find them intact. Hoping somebody can use these. All right. Now another difference on this machine versus a D4 dozer is this hydraulic tank right here. This is the increased reservoir that you would need to be able to run all the cylinders on the loader. The dozer doesn't really have a need for this, so they just have it in a self-contained little hydraulic pack up at the front of the engine. I can't get the lid off by hand. We're gonna have to get some channel locks or a pipe wrench for that. I've never even checked the antifreeze in this machine, so I have no idea if it's holding antifreeze or bone dry. There's definitely moisture in there, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's not empty, but it's low. Got the remnants of a mouse dominium in here. Alright, with those covers off, we can get a little bit better view of what we got going on here. I can almost see the pony engine. And I can tell you one thing for sure. Getting the magneto off of this pony to try to get it to have spark is going to be a bear. But maybe we'll get lucky and we won't need to. I was really surprised on the D4 dozer in the shop that when we tore into that, we already had spark at the magneto and I didn't have to clean the points on it. Typically, you're going to have to clean the points. That was very rare. See if we can't get in here and have a gander on this serial number now. Man, that's some thick grease buildup we got there. Well, what's good is the serial tag's still nice and legible. The D47U we have in the shop is very hard to make out the tag on. So this is 7U29527SP, and that SP stands for special purpose, which would be typically like an ag tractor or something, or in this case, an HT4. They put a loader assembly on this machine. All right, I just checked the chart too, and this being a 29,000 serial number means that this is a 1954 model, so only 2 years newer than the D4 in the shop. They made a pile of these things, and there's still plenty of them around, actually. You know, when you're not in these circles, you might not see them pop up for sale every day, but around here at least, when you're running in the circles that I'm running in, these things are not hard to come by whatsoever. I know of a couple more of them actually just sitting around here pretty local to me that I have never felt compelled to go after. One of these days we might though, since we have a parts machine. I guess it's on to the exciting part here. Let's start checking some fluids. I've never checked the oil in anything here. Dipstick's on the other side, I guess. Or maybe the dipstick's holding the camera. It's hard to see on these machines. They got the dipstick hid way down in here. And it is, well, they're always over full because they're designed to be checked while running. But it is way over full. It was clear up here. So hopefully that doesn't mean it's full of water. So we know it's got oil in the diesel engine. Let's check the pony engine here. A little easier to get to. Still not great excess. And yeah, there is oil in this. And it doesn't look bad. That's good. It's on the low side, but it's got it. One of the things this machine's missing is the intake for the diesel. It should be bolted up here, big oil bath type cleaner. It does make it a little bit easier to get to our magneto though, in case we don't have spark, which very likely we won't. The magneto comes out through this cover here, albeit not without a fight. The pony does turn over. I come by and I check it periodically to make sure it's not stuck. And the reason I've been doing that is because I did notice when I got it, hard to see here, I have a can down over it so you can't see. The exhaust here, this pipe, if you can see where I'm tapping, is the exhaust manifold for the pony engine. These typically get pretty thin and end up blowing out here in the radius of the turn. And this one did, and so basically it's open skyward and rainwater could get in there, so I put that thing down over there to try to keep the water out. And since I've done that, I have not had any water getting into the pony. Doesn't seem like there's any gas in the pony tank, but it looks pretty clean. Let me grab a light. Yeah, I'm not sure how well you guys can see in there, but the pony tank actually looks remarkably clean. No rust, no dirt. That's great. What I really hope that translates into is that the carburetor is also that clean, because getting the carburetor off of these things and cleaning them out is quite a job. You got to take off the tank, the intake horn here, and it's all buried down there. It's not a fun time. I did it twice on the D4 to get it to run right. Maybe we'll get lucky and this guy just fires right up. All right, I grabbed the jump pack. We're gonna hook it onto the pony engine, see if the pony engine will spin over with the electric start. If it does, we can then check the pony for spark. If it has spark, boy, we're batting 1,000 already. We're ready to try to start it if we have that. One thing I'm noticing about this tractor, like I said, it's not in actually that terrible condition. Every gauge is still intact, and the glass is not shattered out of it. They look like they'll work. Anyway, here comes the moment of truth. Let's get ready to try this thing, see if it's gonna crank over for us. Can I get a contact? Oh, no way. No, I'm feeling a lot better about this. That's awesome. Sweet. Time to check for spark. So, showing spark is always difficult on camera. It's just tough for you guys to see it. What I'm going to attempt to do here, we'll go get another spark plug, stick it in the boot, and hang it down by something grounded here, and see if we can see anything. Now this doesn't even have to be a spark plug. It's just convenient to use a spark plug because it holds itself there. Ideally, I'm going to try to hold it like right here on this bolt head, but I got to chisel off some of this grease first. There's like 5,000 volts or something that goes through spark on an ignition system, and it usually will jump through stuff like that, but that's a lot of grease. It might not. You can almost tell it's a bolt head again. All right, I'm very hesitant to even do what I'm doing here, holding it with a screwdriver. But it's got a thick plastic handle, so I'm hopeful I don't get zapped. But honestly, even if I do, it means we have spark. I can be happy with that. So let's try it out here. Contact. No, I'm not seeing anything. And that doesn't surprise me, like I said. But also, sometimes if you crank them over for a little while, they come back to life. It's rare, but it does happen, so we can try it. I can't believe we ever got as lucky as we did on the dozer. I guess I can't expect to be 0 for 2. Yep, now the fun part, you always got to hold your mouth just right to be able to get the cover out of here. There we go. Man, that took a while. All of our graphite contacts in the cover look all right. I'd say 80% of the time, all you got to do is pull the wheel off of here and get a points file and clean up your contact points, your breaker points in here, and that'll fix the no spark issue. The other 20% of the time, you have other issues. Last time I cleaned up a set of points on camera here, I usually use emery boards like for nail files, and somebody suggested I use these things. They're called flexi stones. They're for cleaning out commutators on electric motors, I believe they said. I don't know if they're going to be the solution or not. They're not really rigid enough to be able to pull back and forth here as easily as the emery board, but they are a little bit more grippy, and they have diamond on them rather than whatever's on those emery boards. So we're giving them a shot here. The other thing is they're like the grit on them. I don't know if you can see it on my fingers there. It just falls right off. So we're really gonna have to blow these contact points out real good after we're done to make sure there's no pieces left in the breaker points. All right. I think I did about all I can do for them. I think I see spark there. Oh yeah, I definitely see spark. Sweet! Theoretically, if we get our cover back on, we should have spark at the plugs now. That was an epic struggle that could not be posted to YouTube. We fought like cats and dogs, but in the end we made up. It's gonna change its ways, and it's gonna work out because it knows what's good for it here. And I swear, if we don't have spark now, oh buddy. Oh hey, the ADHD kicks in, and I remember there's a little toolbox here underneath the seat on these machines. I don't think I've ever opened this one. I wonder if there's anything in it. The other one was like welded shut. It just had junk in it. Ooh, what we got here? That looks like the bottom half of a really old Stroh's can. And I mean really old. Oh, you know what this is? This is an Alamite grease can nipple. It's a button head grease fitting adapter is what this is. So we could just stick a regular grease fitting, you know, like your regular Zerk, into the back of this thing, and this thing slides over the special fittings on like the rollers on this machine, and you can grease the rollers with that. That's pretty nice. Somebody loved this machine at one time. Seems like it was taking care of this. Looks like a homemade, maybe not homemade. I think it's homemade. Track adjusting wrench. That's nice. Oh look, the whole toolbox comes out of here. I didn't know that. This is a piece of stock that I bet they use for covers like this. Yep. These old Caterpillar machines are covered in big plugs like that, and I have this special cat tool to remove them, but sometimes people get creative like this. Usually I see people get creative and just use a couple bolts that have the right size head to be able to get that out of there. But this is the first I've seen somebody actually bust out a piece of hex stock like that. There's some sort of a cover plate down here. It's pretty well stuck though, I can't get it out. But it's some sort of a cover. I can tell it's been in here a minute. All right. It looks like a new old stock fan bolt because it still had the cardboard on here. That's what that is. That's the old cardboard envelope. That's a shame that that deteriorated. I can't tell if it was a Cat one or an off-brand. This must be something proprietary to these loaders because I don't recognize this as anything for the D4. This piece of stock though, I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be handy in the future, I'm sure. As well as our grease fitting adapter here in the old Stroh's cam. It's the history of things that amuses me. Underneath you can see there just access to our transmission cover. Anyways, like a dog chasing a squirrel, we're back to the task at hand here. Do we have spark now? That is the question. After the argument I had with that cover, we better. Contact. Ho ho ho, I don't know if you guys can see it, but we got spark. Oh, I'm excited. Let's put some gas in this thing. Well, my excitement was short-lived. If we get the pony running, I mean, that's a major accomplishment, yes, but what we need to do after the pony is running, to get the diesel running, is engage the pony to the diesel engine. Now, in order to do that, you have to make sure the diesel's throttled all the way down, pull the compression release on the diesel, which we have it opened up here. The compression release seems to function. This is your pinion clutch. This is your pinion. Our pinion seems to be stuck. This thing should move pretty easily. It should lift up about 90 degrees there, and it slides the pinion into the flywheel on the diesel. I don't know how to really free this up other than just yanking on it a bench. To my knowledge, there's no kind of oil cup or anything where we could get some lubrication to it. Hopefully just some rattling around here gets it working without me breaking anything. Well, I lied to you. There is a little cover down here that can give us some access to this pinion. And it appears I have to go old school on it. Can't even get a wobble socket on her. Unless that's just 7/16 and I'm stupid, which that's possible. No. Between this cover here and this big cover over here, I think we can probably get in there and get the pinion freed up and moving. The piece that we're going to be working on in there is actually the piece that I need to steal off this machine for the one in the shop. So we're in the shop now, and this part right here is the guy that is in question. What's not happening is this thing is not moving. It kind of passes through a snug bore down here, and you can see that handle goes up and down. And I don't mean snug by machinist standards by any stretch, but snug enough that rust could get in there over time and seize that shaft up. But this is the actual pinion here. You can see on this side we've got like a slightly spring-loaded or counterweight loaded little set of fingers that latch on down here, and then when it spins up fast enough it throws the weights out and unlatches itself. Well, this side here is bent and mangled and missing some stuff. So we actually just need to rob this little part off that other machine. So really what I guess I'm saying here is if I can't easily get it freed up through this little hole, we're just going to take this whole hootenanny cover off here, gain access to the entire area, because we're probably going to have to take it off at some point anyhow. Imagine if you use the right size socket, the bolts tend to come out. Weird. You can tell it's been a minute since that thing's been off of there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get you guys in there to show you what's going on, but you just saw the one in the shop, same thing. So I'm just going to spray some penetrating oil down here on this shaft and hope for the best. Well, good news, bad news. Mostly bad at this rate, I think. If you look at the lever moving up and down here, we are moving the, I don't know what you'd call that, the pusher arm, the part that actually shoves the pinion in. So that's not our issue here. The issue is the pinion itself doesn't seem to want to move. I don't think I can get a pry bar in there any kind of way to get it out or get it moving. Oh, and the beatings will continue until the morale improves. So, I can't get the pinion to move. This clutch is seized. The master clutch is seized in this thing. I mean, you ain't moving that thing. So the lever has been in my way this whole time. I've been working on the points and everything else up here. I was going to pull the little pin out to be able to move the lever backwards and out of my way so I can start unbolting this cover. No sense in taking the little cover off when I'm going to take the whole cover off. But the pin won't clear the little cover, so I have to take the little cover off anyway. Mechanicking. The art of taking stuff apart for to take other stuff apart. Can't see too much in there, but I can tell that none of our oil from the oil cup has made it down to the bearing. Oh, it's like Christmas. That lever's up out of our way. All right, I'm gonna spend probably 10 minutes here scraping away at these bolts, getting all the grease off so I can even find them, and then hopefully we can get this thing popped off. Okay, I think we got all the bolts. The only thing we should have left to do, I think there's a linkage. I can got it unhooked down in here before we can remove the cover. Should be free now. Should just lift right off there, but man, it sure isn't. I'm really glad I had one in the shop torn apart to reference, because I forgot all about. There's a bolt in the cheek down here that comes up from the bottom. You can't see it at all from the top here. Do we get it? Hey, we got it. That was a blind one-handed operation. I bet you this thing comes out now. Look at that. Ho-ho! Ding, 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 ding. We've got a winner. Oh, don't tell me the brake levers are in the way. Come on. Sneak it out. It's tight, but you can do it. I know you can. Come on. Wiggle, wiggle. It's moments like these where you wonder, why did I pick this for a hobby? But then somehow, at the end of the day, you had fun. It's never made any sense. Yeah, look how much easier that was. Bet it comes off now. Hey-o! We picked a wiener. Alright, you can see we've got some soup going on down below there, and it's not the kind you want to eat for dinner. Well, there's the rusty pinion in question. All I can do is soak her down. I guess while we're in here too, we can try to spin the diesel engine from right here at the master clutch. As of this moment, I still have no idea if the diesel's even going to turn. It could be locked up, seized solid for all I know. You guys think the engine going to turn? Oh, look at that. It turns really easy too. That could be bad if it turns that easy. Oh yeah, we are. Fans turning up front. Sweet! You guys know what that means. We stand a pretty good shot at getting this thing running now. Just do a little bit of tappy tap tap here. Try and loosen everything up. There we go. The pinion is moving. It engaged. I was afraid of this though. It's now sticking wherever I drove it to there, so I gotta get it back out of there. Try to work it back and forth. And there's no great places to pry from in here. Well, that's more than it was doing. And keep spraying it down here, hoping for the best. There we go. We got the oil where it needed to be, apparently. Look at that. Man, things are really looking up here now. By golly, things are shaping up here quickly. I think we're almost ready to try to give the pony a start. And then if the pony does, by some miracle, start and run without us going through that carburetor, fingers crossed, then we'd be ready to hit the diesel and try to fire it up. I do want to grab a jug of coolant and throw it in there just to make sure we have some. I'm pretty sure we do, but better safe than sorry. This is concentrate, so we got another gallon of water to go on top of it. I don't hear or see it running out all over the ground anywhere, so that's good. It's one of those things, coolant isn't free. I don't know how much you want to dump into something like this before you decide you're just wasting it. I think all signs look good at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and put some more in it. We are disappointingly low on coolant here, apparently. I was really hoping this radiator, and it still could be, I was really hoping this radiator was going to be a good one, because these HT4s have a really nice big cast iron bumper up here, so they don't take the abuse that the ones on the dozers do. The one on the D4 dozer in the shop there, it does leak a bit. Probably fixable, but these old cores are really hard to solder up or braze or whatever you want to do. Oh. Did we get there? By golly, we're full. 4 gallons on the nose. It's important on these, I know for sure the D315s, I don't know about the smaller or bigger engines. I know there has to be one somewhere. There's a bleeder right here on top of the pony engine on the right hand side. You have to open that valve and let the coolant come out there. You can see it started to come out there. I think there might be some debris in the hole keeping it from really bleeding itself. Anyway, it's important you get coolant to come out of that bleeder because that lets all the air come out of the pony engine. Otherwise, you might end up with a big air pocket in your pony engine and you can overheat it pretty easy like that. Well, it was a piece of dirt because I stuck a pick there in the end of that little check valve and it flows up out of there now. So that's good. We're topped off, ready to roll on all fronts except for gasoline in the pony. Alright, I'm dumping some 2-cycle mixed gas in the pony motor. You don't need to run mixed gas, but I kind of feel like anytime you wake up an old engine like this that's been sitting for a long time, a little extra lubrication in the fuel sure wouldn't hurt anything. Some people have told me that the oil in the 2-cycle gas can help, you know, get the rings kind of freed up and seated again. I don't really know if any of that's true, but for as little bit of gas that this thing uses, we can try it. I did top off the oil in the pony since it looked a little low. I think we're ready to try it. You guys got to stop what you're doing right now. Go down in the comments there and leave me a comment. Do you think that the pony's going to fire? And if so, do you think the diesel's going to fire? Because if the pony fires, I'm not going to fart around. I'm just going to go straight to trying to start the diesel because you never know when you're going to run out of luck with an old dirty carburetor like this. So, I trust that you've left your comment by now. Let's go ahead and try to fire this pony up. Also, just for your reference, the pony motor exhaust comes up right up underneath here, and a large portion of the purpose of a pony engine is to help warm the diesel and get the machine ready for operation, especially in cold climates. So they have the pony exhaust just pointed skyward right here, blasting the bottom of your hydraulic tank to help heat the hydraulic oil, is my guess. On a dozer, it points outward, or if it has a stack, it goes straight upwards and has a flapper on it. But on these machines, they just pointed it at the hydraulic tank. Okay, here goes nothing. Fingers crossed. Contact. Oh man, that was fast. Come on, baby, come on. Oh, that is already better than I was expecting here, so I think we're off to a good start. This is making a disgusting milkshake back here. Oh, it's horrible. My poor tools. Not much I can do about it at the moment, though. This thing's running fantastic. We've got oil pressure. That's good. Look at it, just purring away. It's like you just shut it off yesterday. No smoke, no nothing. Unbelievable. I cannot believe how good this thing's running right now. No smoke, no nothing. Look, it's just gonna sit there and idle down nice and low for us. Still back here just making the most disgusting milkshake I've ever seen. That is foul. But wow, the pony ran good, the diesel ran good. Guys, we didn't even have to clean the carburetor on the pony. I think I got some schmutz on my face there from the flywheel milkshake. That is incredible. This is why I love these old cats. Not bad for $750. I wish we could try to drive it, but like I said, the master clutch is seized up pretty good there. The steering clutches are also seized up. So I don't think we have much of a shot there without a whole ton of work, and you guys have seen what it takes to do that. That's a whole massive job unto itself. But it really makes me think, like, this tractor itself seems to be in better condition than the one that we're fixing. I don't know. Kind of makes a guy ponder some life decisions. That is incredible. That's officially the smoothest running D315 cat that I own. And I have the one in the Lorraine shovel and the one in the D4 in there. I feel like I have one more somewhere that I can't think of right now, but this one runs mint. We have seen this thing old start, cold start. Now let's see how it does hot starting. Can I get a contact? I swear I'm not doing that. It ran perfect there before, and now it doesn't want to run at all. Well, gosh dang. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I think we found a coffin nail for today. And it would be our coffin nail on this until I ever needed this engine for something, because I don't know if you guys can see that dripping down below the flywheel on the pony there. It appears as though this thing is puking oil out of the main crankshaft seal right behind the flywheel. I mean, there's a lot of oil missing already. I had this thing a little over full when we started cranking on it there earlier before we started it. And I just checked it again and it's below the add mark. So it flung a lot of oil out real quick. Everything behind that firewall is covered in it. It's all slung up in here and everything. I mean, and some of that is moisture from the milkshake department going on down there, but clearly is a lot of oil as well. It's all clear up here over the belts, and this isn't water from down below. This is clearly oil seeping down from our pony. So I'm not going to sit there and dump a bunch of oil in it just to crank it up again, and I can't get the thing to start anyways. Probably the universe's way of telling me that I don't need to do something stupid there and lose a hand down in that clutch or something. I know that we can't steer it because the steering clutches are big time stuck, and we can't stop it or start it because the master clutch is big time stuck. But we have a really good running Caterpillar D315, and that's something. So tell me what you guys think. It almost seems a shame to start tearing this tractor apart because, like I said, it is in arguably better condition than the D4 bulldozer in the shop there. However, I don't think it would be as easy as slapping the bulldozer blade onto this machine because, like I said earlier, the track frame is longer on this machine. I don't think it'll work. Not to mention, it's a pretty serious job to get all the loader stuff off of there. And even at the end of the day, I don't know that you'd really have the same tractor. I think there might be some other little minute details that I'm missing on how this tractor is set up differently than a bulldozer. So, we'll do some pondering on it, but I'm like 85% sure this is going to be a parts tractor. I was looking at the undercarriage. Even it is in better condition than the bulldozer in the shop there, so we might steal the undercarriage off this machine. When I first picked this machine up and carried it over here, I was looking at that way that idler support bracket is here, and I realized that that's not original. Somebody homebrew built that one. I was already thinking about how I can build up a pretty sweet hydraulic press with these rams from this machine here. Lots of cool stuff going to happen here. I think we're going to steal the seat and fuel tank group there and put it on the one in the shop. That exhaust manifold might go to the one in the shop there for now. The exhaust manifold is in really good shape on this machine. The one in the shop has a big hole in the side of it, so if I can't patch that up, we'll probably swap the manifolds around. This really cool front end here, I think I'm going to take that off, sandblast it, and paint it eventually. And that'll be a nice decoration somewhere around here. I'll use it for some sort of ornate something or other. Even though it's still a parts machine, I'm very excited about it. I think that all turned out as good as it possibly could have gone. I was pretty thrilled that the diesel started up as easy as it did. Some people will probably critique me on the starting method there. The way you're technically supposed to do this is get the pony running, compression release on the diesel, throttle all the way down on the diesel, and then once you have the diesel spinning, you're supposed to engage the compression. Once you have it under compression and spin it over for a little bit, that preheats your cylinders and everything in there, and then you're supposed to throttle up the diesel, and that's supposed to be how you start it. I have trouble sometimes with these older machines though. If you do it in the proper sequence, I don't think it actually matters at all. But if you do it according to the Caterpillar book in the proper sequence, and you try to crank it under compression for a while with no fuel, which is exactly the issue I was having here. So what I do is I just throttle them up with the compression out, and I let them crank over nice and fast for a little bit, and then kind of slam that compression in there, and that fires them up just fine. I don't see any harm in doing that. Somebody will probably argue with me in the comments, but you have Cummins engines like the one in my 57 auto car over there under the shed, which we will get back to someday. I still get questions about that guy. I want that to be a really nice resto, so I'm not going to rush into that one. We're going to take our time with that one. But anyway, those old school iron lung Cummins over there, basically the way those ones are designed to do it is the way I'm saying I do this, is, you know, you spin them up nice and fast with no compression, slam the compression in, and bam, they're off to the races. No harm, no foul. That's the way those things have always been started. Anyways, guys, that's enough blabbering out of me. If you appreciate seeing old iron come back to life, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, but I'm sure you probably already are if you made it to this point in the video. If not, you know what to do down there. If you like this video, do me a big favor, hit that thumbs up button down below the video. It's only a very small percentage of you guys that watch the videos that actually bother to hit that thumbs up, and it really helps out the channel, and I would appreciate it if you did that, but I'm not out here going to be begging for likes. You know, I understand if you guys can't be bothered to click. But if you could find the time, do hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to help support the channel in a little more direct fashion, you can head on over to dieselcreek.com, pick yourself up some sweet swag over at the store. We've got new hats, new t-shirts, and some other cool stuff coming at you over at the store. It's also linked right down here below the video now. If you haven't seen the merch shelf down there, scroll down, check that out. You might find something you didn't know we carried. Anyways, time to go work on something else. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Later.